Another one that is also important in terms of getting people to support abolitionist ideas, or to at least allow their support for capital punishment to kind of retreat a bit, is fairness. So again, if you can show that it's not necessarily that innocent people are being executed, but that out of the people who do get executed, they're disproportionately drawn from certain social groups, such as minority ethnic groups, like in the United States. Obviously, the death penalty is very disproportionately applied to African Americans. Then again, you can persuade people, even when in principle they agree with the death penalty, and even when they don't accept the humanitarian arguments against it, such as, life being precious in all circumstances and things like that.
In 1979, when I started to work with death row inmates, people denied there was any racial bias. And beginning in 1981, there were a series of studies published that showed that the death penalty was imposed much more, not so much on race of defendant, but on grounds of the race of the victim. And those studies have now been done in many different states with many different methodologies by many different researchers. And virtually all of the research that's been done has shown that for identical crimes, people are much more likely to be sentenced to death for those who kill whites than for those who kill blacks.
This fairness argument as well can emerge in particular cases, such as I did a case study about a woman who was executed a woman who was given the death sentence in the late 1950s in England. And she was actually reprieved. But in the public's reaction to the case, some people felt that she had been sentenced to death because she was a woman, and they thought that the death sentence had been applied because of sexism. They didn't use that term at the time because it was the late 1950s, but some people, when they wrote to the Home Secretary, who had the power of reprieve, stated that they agreed with the death penalty, but they thought that in this case that this woman had received the death penalty where a man in a similar situation wouldn't, and because of that reason they were asking for her to be reprieved. So again, although they agreed in principle, this got them to argue for her reprieve. Although actually she probably wasn't sentenced just because she was a woman, but this was people's perception, and it was important in altering their views. So fairness is something that, it doesn't resonate with everybody, but it can resonate with people who otherwise would support the death penalty. So and usually the death penalty is disproportionately applied, so being able to demonstrate this is something that can be done to alter people's support. So again, it might be that if you could show people from lower socioeconomic positions were disproportionately executed, that might help to change people's views. It might not, depending on how that particular group of capital prisoners had been